Hello and welcome to the Loathsome Things Podcast. I am your host, Josh, and with me is my co-host, John. That's right. I'm the host. You're the co-host.
Yes, that's,
Yes.
I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. How are you doing today, John?
I'm doing well. And yourself, sir?
I'm doing quite well. I'm excited about this. What are we going to be discussing today? You say the title because I suck at it, please.
Today, we are going to be discussing the 1951 alien classic, The Thing from Another World.
Yes, the guy from some other place.
The dude from elsewhere.
Yeah, that guy.
It's a Western.
It kind of is a Western. I looked up the directors and I looked up the actors, and after this, it was a whole lot of Westerns for these guys.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense with the era. There was a lot of goofy, paranoid alien invasion movies and a bunch of Westerns.
Yep. Yeah. Christian Nyby, the supposed director of this movie,
the possible director,
may or may not have directed this movie, went on to direct episodes of Rawhide and Gunsmoke and Gomer Pyle, USMC.
Well, gosh.
And the other, probably most likely actual director of this movie, Howard Hawks, had been directing since 1926. He had directed the original Scarface. He directed Sergeant York, which explains a reference in the movie. He directed The Big Sleep. And later he would go on to direct Hatari.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I think I've seen that. Wow, that's scary.
Yeah. So you know that this movie is just like right at the XY axis of something amazing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Howard Hawks is obviously pretty legendary in Hollywood, and apparently the dialogue in this film, the style, the kind of the delivery is very much a Hawks hallmark. That kind of like rapid fire, wise ass kind of. I mean, I just thought that was a 50s thing, but
yeah, that what you're telling me right now is surprising. I was like, oh, okay, I guess this is the 50s and that's how people, white people talk.
Yeah. Look here, fella.
Yeah. Say.
Nice gams.
Oh God, this movie.
I made coffee. Anybody want any?
Yeah,
no.
There was so much coffee in this movie.
So much coffee that nobody wanted.
Yeah, no. It's negative 100 degrees outside. I don't want coffee.
She had to force it on poor Scott every time.
Yeah. This is what is it? This was made by RKO, which is really cool to see their old logo. This is made during Howard Hughes's control of the company, which means this was made during the downfall of RKO.
Nice. It was it was a big hit. I think it grossed around $2 million or something like that.
Damn.
Which at the time was quite a bit of money.
Yeah. Yeah, and really, really amazing I guess stunt work and a lot of neat special effects for this era. Also, lots of weird sexism and a abnormally large cast of indistinguishable white men to choose from.
Yes, so much mansplaining.
Yeah. And all of them, like, it's really hard to get a count of how many people are in there, but there was only a few of them that were actually concerned with the monster business.
Yeah, the rest were just kind of doing work.
Yeah, they're like, oh, those guys over in bunk 12.
Yeah, it was, considering how big the facility looks from the outside, they apparently only occupy like 3 rooms.
Yeah. One very messy hallway and 3 rooms.
That's right. Yeah, so it was based on a novella by which I believe was 1938, titled "Who Goes There" by the raging racist John W. Campbell.
Yes, the very important to the science fiction genre and wretched gatekeeper John Campbell.
Yes, who wrote it under the pseudonym Don A. Stewart. I don't know why.
Well, actually, it's funny because even though he was also a huge sexist, that last name is actually his wife's maiden name that he adopted for the pseudonym purposes.
Huh, interesting. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a great novella. It's. I mean, it's a novella. So it's pretty short. The the creature is portrayed, for those that are familiar with the John Carpenter version or his take of the thing. Uh, the creature in the novella is probably more in line, at least philosophically, I guess you could say, with what they had. It's more of a shapeshifter and um, not a hulking Frankenstein vegetable.
yep, yeah. So this is an adaptation of that short story, which would later be adapted again by John Carpenter in The Thing. He even used the really awesome like cover lettering for this movie.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I hadn't made that connection before. So yeah, this is the earlier version of the major sci-fi horror masterpiece, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah, it's funny because in the film Halloween, which was his at least first Hollywood film, there's a scene where the kids are watching TV and in the house are being babysat by Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and that movie comes on, and you see that title bleed in with the Thing lettering, and it's funny because he wasn't originally picked to do that project. I think they had originally hired Tobe Hooper to do it. The Poltergeist, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Salem's Lot guy. But they didn't like his interpretation of the story, so they canned him apparently.
Wow.
And they went through some other potential people, and they ended up with Carpenter, who was interested because he was a big fan of the original film. Yeah. But yeah, this movie. I had recommended this one because this was a movie that my dad saw when he was about, I guess he would have been 11 when this movie came out. And he said it scared the daylights out of him when he was a kid. And my dad always has had a way of like making things that he thinks are cool sound really epic. And so he had really sold this story to me when I was a kid because the movie was going to be on TV. And so we watched it together, but he had already hyped it, so much that, I was like completely ready to go before the movie even started. And there's moments that we'll get into as we talk about the film that, there's one moment in particular that he just kept talking about. So it's really cool for me to be able to do this one because it was kind of one of the first horror movies that I remember watching like intentionally, I guess you could say, instead of something just being on.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I was younger than he was, but I remember it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm an adult-ish person, and this movie scared the shit out of me. Like, wow, those poor stuntmen.
Yeah, I know. It's oddly effective for what it is. It's simple. I mean, the way it's done was pretty simple. They shot partially in Anchorage. For the scenes where they're technically in Anchorage. And then the rest of it was shot apparently on a set that they built on at an ice storage facility.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Kind of to get that Exorcist film in a cold room effect.
Yeah. Man, that'd be a nice office space though. You'd never have to worry about it getting too hot in there.
Yeah, it's like 40 degrees. That must be fun working in there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's no spoilers. It's a pretty great movie. It's an important movie in the history of horror, especially the history of science fiction horror.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's available all around the place. I also saw it on television for the first time, so it's just out there. If you have cable, it's probably on some ratty channel, but it's also all over the internet and stuff. You can find it and you can watch it and you can enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of fun, and it plays into a lot of the themes that were popular in the 50s. It was the post-war era, post-nuclear war era, and there's this kind of like constant ribbing that they give to science, or the guy that represents science in the film, as if these are people that we really can't trust.
Yeah,
which I thought was funny.
Yeah. The play there is these scientists shouldn't meddle with things that are beyond them, whereas the military, they're doing just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to go there.
Yeah, at least we've got these military guys to keep the scientists in line.
Yeah, because if there's one thing we know, it's that science can't be trusted, and the military will take care of everything.
Yes. That's what we all took away from the end of World War II.
That's right. Some people have said that the movie is supposed to be kind of a take on this fear of the Red Menace, and that the creature represents this, like, a threat from within. Almost, it's something that is something that they can kind of blend in, was the argument I read, but there's nothing blendy in about this alien. So I don't know how on the mark that was. I do think it kind of plays with the fear of communism and that trumped up nonsense that was so popular back in the 50s.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot going on there, even at we'll get to summarizing it, but for sure there's things.
Yes. And of course we will spoil it.
Oh yeah, we'll spoil it. So go watch it before we spoil it. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we move to spoilers? No,
I would just add the same thing, that go watch it. It's like 87 minutes. It's not exactly like a super challenging watch like say The Empty Man.
Yeah.
I mean, The Empty Man's not difficult to watch. It's just very long.
Yeah, in the realm of movies that you should watch when you're high, The Empty Man's not one of those. This one, have at it. Go at it, dude.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Just get baked.
Yeah.
Get some munchies and check it out.
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa.
All right, so go watch it and then come back and listen to the rest of this podcast.
Yep.
Oh, welcome back to this podcast.
We're back. Sorry.
Whoa. John, do you have any spoilers for us?
Yeah, let's see. I have a spoiler. A couple guys die.
A couple guys die and everything is on fire.
Carrot vampire.
Yeah. Carrot Top, the original horror.
Pre-Trump, Trumpy menace.
Yeah. Oh my God, this movie is crazy at points. At other points, it is honestly boring.
Yeah.
But that, I guess that's just if the jabbing back and forth comedy doesn't really get you.
Yeah. The jabbing back and forth comedy and the bizarre, like, Pacific Northwest camping lodge look of most of the sets.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this, Twin Peaks?
It's very strange.
Yeah.
And as short as it is, it really feels like this could have been a short film.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that nothing is happening in.
Yeah. For instance, the novella is pretty short. And then this film is considerably longer. And then you and I, to extrapolate, will exponentially expand the length of time that we discuss it.
At least 187 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Yeah. So how does this movie start? This movie starts at a military base.
Yeah, it starts in this military base. Well, it starts at the officers' club in Anchorage, Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of see the camera pan up. It's super snowy. This dude walks in, super tall guy. This guy
Scotty.
is Scotty. He's a reporter who,
yeah,
if I remember correctly, has heard tale that there's something worth looking into up there or some nonsense like that.
Yeah, he needs a story is what's going on. He's got to get the scoop.
Yeah, not a lot going on in Anchorage.
Yeah, and he prefers warm weather.
Yeah, he performs warm weather, so he's in Anchorage.
Yeah.
In the winter.
Yeah. Meanwhile, some Air Force guys is playing cards.
Yeah, they're playing cards in the lodge, and there's a lot of people playing games and stuff in this movie. There's a scene where a bunch of guys are just sitting around playing chess. So yeah, he goes and joins them, and it's let's see, he meets Ned and some other military dudes, and they're all chatting about this North Pole mission and that something has crashed. There's a crash site up there.
Yep. And there's also a captain guy.
Yeah, there's a captain guy who I believe is named Pat Hendry.
Oh.
And so he's there, and there's some other dorks sitting around the table, and they're talking about this guy up in this base up at the North Pole, Dr. Carrington, who is going to send a mission out to kind of investigate this crash site so they can, figure out what the fuck's going on up there.
Yep. We also get our early goings of ribaldry because we found out that only dames can fool the captain.
That's right. the first instance of misogyny, not the last.
Yeah. There's this whole thing going back and forth about some woman and the captain, and it's all very hilarious if you know what's going on, which the newspaper man doesn't.
Yeah.
And he says that he wishes he could get a co-pilot and a navigator that are at least dry behind the ears, which I had to look up. Apparently that is a reference to birthing like baby cows and sheep and shit, because they're literally wet behind the ears when they come out of the larger creature.
They're soaked in baby juice.
Yep. So I learned a thing. That's pretty cool. Then after a while of them telling various jokes, the captain gets summoned away through the PA system, and they think that that's pretty cool. It's like back in the good old days of the war.
Yeah, that's right. Captain Henry, you've got to go.
Yeah. So he has to go to apparently the one room sized building that the general or whatever is in.
Yeah.
There's a door that is just directly beyond his desk. And so every time someone opens the door, he gets to yell, "Close the door!"
Close the door there, fella.
Yeah. And he explains that, they've had this weird crash and he's sending him in there, take dogs with you because of whatever reasons, and go figure it all out. Bring that newspaper man with you.
Yeah. Bring Scotty, that really tall guy.
Yeah. And Scotty, I like Scotty's evolution in this movie, because at the beginning he's like, "Aren't I a guest?" And then as the movie goes on, he's like directly involved in everything.
Yeah. Scotty, he kind of plays like he's our eyes and ears, but if our eyes and ears were on top of a guy who was a total ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not on top of, but attached to.
Yeah, I think he's the prototype for Jar Jar Binks.
That's right. Misa gets stories, huh?
Oh God. So they all load up in an airplane. They even on the airplane, there's weird humor, because there's the guy at the base that's in charge of the radio, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, you think you're close, but actually, check your settings and look, there's like weird magnetic activity, and you're actually like 18 degrees off." And he says that he'll leave the line open so that they can like hone in on the line. And he was like, "Would you like me to just leave it open, or would you like me to sing to you?" And they're like, "Just leave the light open." And he was like, "Oh, shucks." And he gets sad about it.
Gee willikers.
Aw.
Yeah, that was a little odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just chatting away, and then they get a message from the base, the North Pole base, about some sort of a disturbance, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And they then the base comes into view, and they land. I can't remember if there's any other hijinks on the plane before they land.
There's coffee. Coffee is served.
Yes, of course.
And they squeeze as many people's faces into the cockpit next to each other as possible.
Yeah, it's a real sausage factory in there.
Yeah, it's you're really seeing how it gets made. It's weird.
It's like, wow, could maybe just like 5 of you guys fuck off? Or
could you just like back up there windows along the side of this thing? Jesus Christ.
We're literally fogging windows at the North Pole.
It's so weird. They're like, I wanted the shot.
Just a whole group of faceless, nameless people.
Yeah. And the dogs are in there with them in the main part of the airplane, which I thought was funny because then when they land, you see a large number of indistinguishable white men milling about, but there are no dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so
right.
I guess they're just like, leave them in the plane.
Fuck the dogs.
Window open.
That's right. They'll be fine.
Yeah. So they get there. There's all kinds of people. They meet and greet people. There's another woman there, not the main woman that we'll get to soon, but just some other lady who's there occasionally in the scenes.
Yeah, and then we never see her like again for any consequence, really.
Yeah.
She's weird.
Just not involved in the action. And yeah, there's like dozens of people at this place, but whenever it comes to like action shots, there's maybe 8.
Yeah, which makes you wonder how many guys at the base never even knew that any of this happened.
Yeah. Like, and I really like the idea that the Thing is just like, I'm going to menace these ones.
Yeah. The Thing, which is super intelligent, apparently.
Yeah. The most intelligent, like super superior to humankind, mostly just eats dogs.
And moans a lot.
Yeah. Oh!
And wears a really cool suit.
Yeah. Neat hands guy.
Captain Thorny Hands.
So let's see. They meet all of the people. There's a lot of them. I did not bother with names. I don't think if you're watching this movie that you really have to bother with names. No. Because a lot of them don't matter. It won't make a difference.
It won't. There's Scotty, Pat Hendry, Nikki, the lady, and Dr. Carrington. And those are really the only names you need to know.
Yeah. Dr. Carrington, very distinguishable from the rest because he looks like a space adventure villain. Like all he's missing is the Dracula cape and a dramatic helmet and a ray gun.
Yeah. And in no way at all does he look like Vladimir Lenin.
No. Nope.
Not even a little bit.
Nope, not some sort of famous communist guy.
Nope. And also in no way whatsoever is his hair fakely white.
Yeah. And like slicked real neat ways.
He's like 30, but they're trying to make him look like this distinguished a gentleman. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. He went on to be in a lot of Christian Nyby's television shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess they got along real good.
He's I pretty much hate him, which is kind of the point. I mean, I think you're supposed to.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, because he's really the only person in the place that makes any sense at times. Mm-hmm. But the way they present him, he's just a complete asshole, and you just want him to shut up.
Yeah. He is. He oscillates between making valid scientific points and being a science villain.
Yeah, launching into big speech. Maybe if he wasn't so fucking speechy all the time.
Yeah, he's very speechy.
We must do this for the betterment of man. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up.
For the human brain.
Go tend your garden.
Yeah, he's great. The secret alternative bad guy of this movie.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, Hendry heads off, kind of the military captain guy, to go see Carrington. And on his way, he walks into this room, and there's Nikki, the base hottie.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I put my note here was, after watching a little bit of their interaction, I put, I believes they like to bone.
but we do get to see their first ever kiss. So this whole thing that's going on is just I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
they obviously have some sort of a past. They make some sexual innuendo. There's even one of those, like the shaft. He's a bad. Shut your mouth. Like where somebody cuts you off right before you say something you're not supposed to.
Yep.
It's like, oh, you mean maybe later we can? Let me tell you something. What the hell?
Yep. Yeah, we get a little bit about them after he like physically menaces her by acting like he's going to be violent, and she like withdraws a little.
Yeah,
it's a very uncomfortable scene, but eventually it turns into gee, and they just talk about it. Apparently, like he got real drunk and handsy like an octopus.
Yeah.
And then after he passed out, she left a note saying that she was leaving on his chest out where everyone else could see it. And, like, that's why the people at the base were all making fun of him.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. She's kind of a badass.
Yeah, I actually really liked her character.
Yeah. Yeah. She even like has the idea of how to defeat the thing, and she's pretty great. Great character. Him, not so much. Although it was good once he stopped being all menacing and was like, oh, really? Am I that much of an asshole? Gee.
And he is pretty pragmatic. I do like the way he kind of shuts the scientists' stupid ideas down.
Yeah. 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 Well, there is the worst idea that happens later, and I had a really hard time telling whose idea it was. but we'll get to that.
Just rest assured, terrible idea.
Yeah, I guess it's really hard to say which idea in this movie is the worst, but all of them involve things that are combustible.
If for instance they had chosen to make their base the bad idea station, there would be so many to choose from.
Yeah. Okay.
So Pat Hendry, whatever, he goes to the lab and meets up with Dr. Carrington, the mad scientist who has terrible hair. And and then Nikki's there, and they start talking about the crash, quote unquote. And Carrington recommends or suggests that Nikki read from his notes to kind of give them an idea of, what the fuck they're dealing with. And I'm trying to remember what the notes say. I mean, he's basically talking about, some of the attributes of the crash site and some of the readings that they're getting. Like the I think it was the Geiger counter goes haywire or something. And
yeah, the Geiger counter, it's also messing with a lot of the other instruments, including like the radios, like just everything's going all nutty.
Yeah, that they've detected a large amount of some sort of metal that they can't identify or something.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was like way too many tons of steel had all of a sudden been deposited. Like that's why the like compasses are all going haywire. Like it's the displacement. And that's right. They're talking about it all scientifically, and the captain's just like, huh?
Oh yeah, that's right. He's like, are you gonna speak English at any point? Or
how do you figure that?
Like, it's so technical. There's a lot of metal, and it's fucking with our compasses.
Yeah.
He's like, look here, doctor. Give it to me straight. Like, God damn,
get out of here with all that flim flam.
I'm pretty sure that those notes were not that technical.
Yeah, it is fun because at the beginning he's like maybe that sounds like a meteor, and they're like, yeah, except here we also like caught this awesome video of it zigzagging back and forth, and he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's right. And here at this point it starts to move upward.
Yeah,
meteors don't go up.
Yeah. Oh, you say. And so then they all head out to the crash site where there's a dark spot in the snow and like a little metal dick poking out.
Yeah.
And
48 miles away, by the way.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's what they kept saying.
Yeah, they just traverse that. It's fine.
Yeah, they have this goofy countdown to the crash site. Like, we should be over the crash site in 10, 9.
Coffee.
And then, of course, when they get there, everyone on the plane can see it. There really was no need for the countdown.
Yeah. Oh, it's that giant skillet-shaped thing. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
A flying skillet. Nice.
That's circular manta ray under the ice there.
Yeah. Yeah. And they all get out and they start, describing the thing that they can see through the ice that we can't see through the ice, which is a neat little trick,
Yeah.
Effective. It's also weird because they spread out, like everyone stand at the edges of it, and we can obviously see that the dark shape underneath them is much bigger than where they're.
I know, that was so funny.
It was like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah,
but
that's a really famous scene, and that was the scene that one of the scenes that my dad kept selling to me. Like, they just keep spreading out, and it gets bigger and bigger. And I'm like, every time I watch the movie, I'm like, they don't keep spreading out, and it doesn't keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
In fact, they don't even cover the whole size of the thing.
It's very strange choice.
Ah, here we are. These are the boundaries here, except for that shape of metal circle behind us that we didn't quite reach.
I guess the darkness could be caused by the melt and the water underneath. So it could just be that the dark is water and what they're seeing is different from what we're seeing.
That's true.
But,
and I like their idea that the heat from the engines melted the ice, and that's why it went up, down, under, and then once the engines went off, that it froze over again. So that's why it's submerged like that.
Yep. And also the fact that there's the giant skillet handle part is because that was part of its slide in.
Yeah.
But.
And then, so once they get there, there's I forget which guy it is, but they make sure that they have this guy say this many times. Holy cats!
It's got to be the newspaper man.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Holy cats!
He's super into it. And once they spread out, of course, they see that the way that they are shaped is a circle. It's like a circle. And someone says, "We finally found a flying saucer."
That's right. And so it's some sort of they figure out that it's some sort of unknown metal. They go, what do they say? Go get tools.
Yeah. They want to take filings from the metal, tent pole sticking out of the fucking ice.
Oh, that's right. So they can figure out what the metal is.
Yeah. So a guy's over there just doing scrapings and coming to conclusions about it. Ain't no kind of metal I ever seen.
That's right. And then they decide that what they're going to do is they're going to magically raise the ship by blowing up the entire site with thermite.
Yeah. The great idea is let's blow the shit.
What we'll do is we'll cover the entire crash site with thermite.
Yeah.
And then when we detonate the thermite, in no way will the ship be completely destroyed.
No, it'll just melt the ice.
And then we'll have access to all this great tech.
I don't know. It's amazing. It's a great choice. It's a standard procedure.
Yeah.
I don't know whose idea was it. Could you tell?
I can't remember whose idea it was. I just know that once they do it, because of course they detonate the thermite and then it causes a massive explosion.
Yeah.
Completely demolishes the ship. And then that becomes like a running joke throughout the movie.
Yeah. They blow it up after the initial explosion. Then it turns out that the ship has caught on fire, and then the engines explode. The whole thing blowed up. Not in any way disrupting the thin sheet of ice above.
Yeah, that's right.
Just underneath parts. But yeah, they completely ruin mankind's single most significant discovery of the second 50 years of the 20th century.
But, guess what?
Yeah.
Some sort of enormous, as they describe it, 8-foot tall figure is frozen in the ice.
Yeah, he made it out of the explosion into the not frozen water, quickly refroze. Very quickly refroze, and is now clearly visible from the surface. You can see all the way from his head to his feet to his weird carrot dick.
Because as opposed to a normal carrot dick.
Yeah. Yeah. His normal carrot top dick.
That's right. So of course they come up with the idea, let's dig it out in one giant block of ice. And then we'll have the dogs drag it 48 miles back.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they probably put it on the plane. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't really know.
Don't really remember.
Yeah. But they do. They drag it back. They bring it in down into a door, and it looks like the world's largest Twinkie. It's huge. I wouldn't say it's 8 feet long though.
No,
but
it's not. It's really not.
It's not. But it's the 50s. Maybe all of these people were really short.
Yeah, that's good. That could be. At some point they get some message, some radio message from their like command post, wherever the fuck that is. Military doesn't want Scotty reporting on anything, of course, because they don't want to cause a panic.
Yep. I think it's hilarious that this spaceship is supposed to be made of technology beyond our possible reckoning.
Yeah.
But a little bit of explosive just ruins the whole thing.
Yeah. I wondered if it was they were trying to imply that it was like booby trapped or something, but not really, because they always say that they blew it up.
Yeah, we blew the shit out of it because America.
And there's always these, they keep getting like reminded from the military command, please protect ship at all costs.
Yeah. We would really like to have one of those.
So I forget what they were saying, but for whatever reason, I wrote down the line here, bunch of fucking comedians, because they're all just cracking jokes constantly.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, they do. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, they put the block in the plane. So the plane lands and they bust it out. And then one of the guys says, I pulled one boner out on the ice.
That's right. That's right. Let's not do it again.
Yeah, that was quite the boner.
Yeah. Oops. Oops, we ruined the movie.
Oh my God.
At this point, we hear about orders from HQ, and so now there's tension between military orders and scientific inquiry. The scientists want to dig the creature out of the giant block of ice and study it, whereas the military people are like, no.
Yeah, they want to keep it frozen until they get further directions from their commanding officers.
To avoid a second boner.
Yeah, that's right. And then we get this like huge speech about alien germs and the danger of infection, possible infection from unknown microbes or whatever.
Yeah, aliens are dirty.
Yeah, which goes nowhere, by the way.
Yeah.
But and then there's some sort of breakdown in communications, so they're not able to communicate back and forth with, which doesn't happen again for some reason. I didn't understand that either.
Well, I think there's the big storm coming in, and probably a nor'eastern. So that's part of the thing, is that he was supposed to be able to get up there and get back before it came through, but then it started coming through, and that mixed with, probably the crazy alien technology exploding is, fucking with everything.
Yeah.
and later it gets so bad that they can only spend a half hour outside without dying. Yeah,
that's right. Because it's even though the skies are clearly sunny in the distance, there's a terrible snowstorm.
Yep. And so all of that's going on. Meanwhile, he decides to go have a drink with Nikki.
Yeah.
A drink that it starts with jokes about them tying up his hands.
Yeah, that was weird. So she ties him up with his hands behind him as he's sitting at the chair, but then he just pops right out of it because
Mhm.
I guess apparently she doesn't know how to tie somebody up.
Well, and he's like such a masculine figure that
He's such a knave.
yeah, he was just fooling the whole time. So he's pretending to have his hands tied behind his back. They're talking. She says something about how she's worried that this is going to mean that boogeymen from space are going to be popping in to say hello all the time, and are we going to have to do return visits to be nice to them? And it's weird. And they're drinking, and then he's like, I tricked you. My hands aren't tied up, and they kiss.
There's a bunch of smooching going on.
Yep. And it's all very whatever. And then it moves. They've been doing. They work out shifts of who's going to sit with the thing.
Yeah.
We get a really cool shot through the ice of the monster that's hidden in the giant block of ice, and it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And it's a big shame that that's not what the actual monster looks like when it's walking around, because what was in that ice looked really cool, and what comes out is basically just a leftover Frankenstein with different hands.
Yeah, imagine Frankenstein with thorny hands if he was a member of Devo. That's essentially what we're talking about here.
Yeah. I mean, apparently they put a lot of things into it, like the headpiece that the guy's wearing for the thing. They had fake veins with water running through it, like pumping to make them like bulge and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, like they put a lot of work into it. I guess maybe it like looked way more impressive on the big screen or something, but they threw a lot in there.
They probably opted to not show him too much to make him more scary.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, the thing is portrayed by James Arness from Gunsmoke.
Yep.
Which
except
is
for one scene in which it's Tom Steele.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
What the hell's Tom Steele?
Tom Steele, famous stuntman. Famously. Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Because wow. So they leave this doofus on watch, and with this clearly not an actual block of ice, because apparently when they were chipping out the block of ice, they left the entire surface of it covered with these weird curvy shapes. And I love how like someone knocks on it at one point and you can hear that it's made out of plastic. It was great.
Yep. And so they change shifts. One guy's done guarding the block of ice. Another guy goes on, and he's so freaked out by looking at the thing through the ice that he throws a nearby blanket on it. And earlier in the movie, we'd found out that they had an electric blanket in there to help people keep warm because it's cold. And it turns out that what he threw on over the ice is that electric blanket.
Yeah, apparently nobody told him there was an electric blanket in the freezing cold room.
Yeah, he just picked it up. It felt like a normal blanket, not plugged in or anything.
Although totally plugged in and very warm.
Yeah, very hot, burning his hands, plugged in, the same texture as a normal blanket. Throw that over there.
Jeez.
And so he then proceeds to fall asleep. We see that the ice block is melting, and at a certain point, a shadow eclipses him, and he wakes up and just starts shooting.
Yep, starts shooting, but we don't see what he's shooting at.
Yep,
and then,
classic.
Yeah, and then the dogs are freaking out outside, and he let's see, did they show? I'm trying to remember how the course. I'm just trying to remember. I like the part where they show the half melted block of ice with the imprint of the creature's body.
yeah. That's coming. It's he goes. He's freaking out and he's telling everyone, and they're like, what's going on? None of us heard gunshots. And he's trying to recount what he saw, but he's freaking out. And so of course they splash water in his face like you do.
That's right. Yeah.
And
get a hold of yourself.
Yeah. And then once they figure out what's going on, they go in there, they see the melted spot where the thing was. And then I think that's it's run out, and is that whenever it is outside fighting dogs?
Yeah, the door blows open at some point, and then the next thing you know, you see the thing out there, like just making short work of the dogs.
Yeah, just he's got one that he's like spinning around in the air.
It's like a towel fight.
Yeah,
with dogs.
There's one dog in the foreground of the shot, an actual dog that's, like there and not having a good time. Like, obviously, like, what?
What the hell am I doing here?
Can we go?
Why is that idiot whipping a fake dog around?
Yeah. I'm not scared, but I am nervous.
So it kills some of the dogs, and the guys run out there. They chase the creature away, and then they discover that its arm was bitten off.
Yeah, dogs. Like, it looks like he killed two of them, and one of them was badass enough to rip his forearm off.
Yeah. So they take the arm and bring it in so that Dr. Carrington can take a look at it.
Yeah. And it's a pretty cool arm. It's like monster claw with thorns that like point backwards towards the rest of the arm. It's pretty neat looking.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they like have it on a table. They're poking at it. Most of the time, you don't see it, but they have a whole conversation. You find out that it's not animal tissue. It's vegetable tissue. That's when they start talking carrot talk.
Yeah, he calls it a super carrot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like basically they're like, oh, a super carrot. He's like, yes, a carrot that built a spacecraft capable of, traveling millions of miles to get here.
Oh, it's so great.
No
pain, no pleasure, no heart.
That's true. And, I think it's the newspaperman, Scotty, says, now look here. And he says, I forget how he phrased it, what it is, but he's like, I'm not saying that your theory is stuffed full of wild blueberry muffins, but our readers might.
That's right. Oh, man. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just it's really just another excuse for Carrington to give another one of his dumb speeches.
Yep. Yeah. The one that you were talking about, no pain or pleasure, no emotions, no heart, superior in every way. It has a huge dick.
It is massive.
It just tastes good.
Oh my God.
And we find they explain that in the palms of its hands are seed pods, and they're
That's
like,
right.
Ooh, neat.
Yeah, pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
Very gross.
Yeah. And then while they're standing around talking about it, it starts twitching and moving. They talk about it coming back to life and how it has ingested the blood it was coated in, just
That's
like through its skin.
Yeah. So it's like absorbs blood. It's a vampire carrot.
Yeah. Yep. And then someone says, like, we need to do something about it before someone makes salad out of him or something.
Yeah, that's right. It's very strange.
Yeah. And then they decide to head over to the greenhouse. They're looking in all the rooms, right?
Yeah, they do like a quick search for it. A couple guys go outside, but they don't really find anything.
Yeah.
And then they get word from the command, and this is where they're starting to get badgered by the military command that they want answers from Captain Hendry, and they want info about the ship and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, this dude busts in, and he's injured. And
that's right.
Yeah, he's like, greenhouse.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where we find out that the door to the greenhouse is locked because Eskimos have a weakness for our strawberries.
That's right.
It's like, oh, good. Just throw in some weird Eskimo racism in here. Great.
Yeah. Just in case anybody thought that we weren't going to be racist.
Yeah. Don't worry. There's at least Eskimos around.
We found some brown people.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I know. So it turns out that the thing has killed whoever the fuck Olsen and Auerbach are.
Mhm.
He's killed them and hanged them from the ceiling from their ankles.
Yeah. And sadly, we don't get to see that.
I know. That would have
Yeah.
been great.
That would probably have been great.
Yes. So the boys, as I call the group, get a bunch of guns and go they go to the greenhouse and they're all whispery. Let's okay, that's
somewhere in here, I think it's Scotty the newspaperman says so you people misplaced a flying saucer and an alien all in one day, and refers to them as a bunch of butterfingers.
That's right. Ooh, it hurt.
Burn. I wish I had some butter for that burn.
Oh my God. So they're all huddled at the door whispering, and then and then when they're ready, they pop the door open real fast and there's the thing.
Yep.
He's huge. He fills the entire doorway. I don't think he's 8 feet tall.
No, not quite 8 feet tall. Maybe with that little headroom. I think the actor's like 6'7".
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah.
And they probably gave him platform shoes, but he still fits in the doorway.
Yeah. Yep.
So they freak the fuck out, as one would do, and slam the door closed and start shooting.
Oh yeah, I loved that scene because they like shoot the door, no bullet holes are made, but then it cuts back because they're like trying to get stuff to brace the door, and whenever the camera pans back to the door, now there are bullet holes in it. I thought that was great.
Yeah, there's like this huge line of machine gun bullets.
Yeah. Bullet
holes. It's like, wait a minute. What happened? It's those magically spreading bullet holes.
Yeah. And this is the one where the Scotty the newspaperman is just like completely involved in barricading that door. Like he's out getting wood. At the end of the scene, it's like he's got nails sticking out of his mouth, and he's been like hammering everything in while everyone else stands around.
That's right. Typical group of dudes.
Yep.
Hey, you got that? You good?
Yep. And I think this is before this, we saw the scientists hatching a plan, like talking about how they want to like undermine the military because we have to protect the scientific discovery or something.
Oh, that's right. That science must prevail over the folly of man or whatever.
Yeah, they had found the dead dog in the hamper in the green room, and realized that it lives off blood, and that's where they hatch a plan to do some cool stuff with seeds.
That's right. Let's put the dog back in the hamper.
Yeah.
Completely drained of blood.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
These guys are all jerks.
Yeah. And yeah, he has like this whole like only science can get the job done speech, but science is tired. And so he has to like have the lady read from his notes because he's too tired to talk about it.
Oh, that's right.
And then later we get to the another awesome scene where we find this is before everyone else does it. It's the scientist talking about it, and he shows them his little like hydroponics bay.
Yeah.
With where he's planted the seeds and watered them with extra blood, like they have like replacement
milk bottles full of blood.
Yeah. And so you see all of these crazy pod people style little plants that are pulsating like they're breathing or heartbeats. And even shows, he's like, look, see, these plants that are farther away from the blood aren't as big as these plants that are real close to the blood.
Yeah, that was really gross.
Yeah, it was a really good scene. It was like, what a cool little practical effect.
I did like the alien hand seed blood garden. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a highlight moment. Like they probably spent a good bit of their budget on that neat little prop.
Yeah, that was a cool effect.
Yep. And so they realize, that's obviously what's been going on in the green room, is because he killed those two scientists and hung them upside down, is he's planted his own hand seeds in the green room, in the greenhouse, and is dripping those people blood all over him.
Yeah, they also realized that he's able to regenerate himself. I think they mentioned at that point that they had noticed that his arm had grown back already or something.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then there's the part, go get a stethoscope and listen to them. It's like the guy puts the stethoscope up to the little plant pods, and they don't even let you hear what he hears, which I thought was lame.
Yeah, it would have been cool if we could hear it, because what he describes it as, what is it? I've got it written down. They sound like the wail of a newborn child that's hungry.
It's so creepy.
Yeah.
Because, super intelligent.
Yeah. And to that evil scientist says, that's exactly how I would describe it.
Thanks, Doc.
And so in the meantime, Captain Military Man realizes that even though, like, on his last run up here, he'd brought a bunch of extra blood for people, that he noticed that the one scientist that was hurt is been given, instead of using that extra blood, is being given like live transfusions.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, where's all the blood going? And so he what is it? He goes in there. Nikki doesn't stop him from reading the notes, and he figures it out, and then he sees all of this stuff is going on. And then there's another, sequence of the military wants to destroy it, science wants to study it, and then orders come in and say, no, we must preserve it.
That's right.
Yep.
But they decide that they're gonna torch it.
Yeah, because their own human lives are important. And Nikki comes up, they're like, well, how do you kill a thing that you can't just shoot with bullets? And she was like, well, it's a vegetable, so you can boil it.
That's right. How do you deal with a vegetable or something?
Yeah.
As
a
boil
man,
it, bake it, roast it,
like say
coffee.
Yep. She is here to look good, serve coffee, and have ideas about cooking.
That's right. Oh my God.
And so someone, I think the newspaperman is like, well, could you borrow a flamethrower from someone? And then they realize that they have crap tons of kerosene just laying around.
Yeah, it's just everywhere.
They have the world's entire backlog of kerosene available to them.
Thousands of gallons of kerosene.
And they hatch a plan.
That's right. Let's think this one through. It should be totally safe.
Yeah, it's okay. Here's a mattress to hide behind. So they come up with this plan where they're going to lure the thing into a room and then douse it in kerosene and then hit it with a flare gun and then just keep going.
And then everything is good.
Yeah. Then everything will be fine. So they set up the room. They have it. There are just like buckets and pails of kerosene everywhere. And they're all in there. Well, by all, I mean like 8 people. I don't know where everyone else is. But of course, it is very important for Nikki to be in there while all of this is going on.
Yeah, for no reason.
And so they give her a real piece of shit mattress. They're like, here, hide behind this mattress. And I think her job is to turn the lights out or something.
Yeah, that's her job, is to man the light switch and hide behind a stiff sleeping bag, essentially.
Yes. This is where one of them has a gun. Out of all of these military personnel, one of them has a gun, and the newspaperman says, hey, do you know how to use that thing? And that's whenever he references Sergeant York. He's like, I saw Gary Cooper in Sergeant York.
That's right.
That's a reference to Mr. Hawks's big deal movie.
That's right. Nice little nod there.
Yeah. So the thing comes in, and they douse him with kerosene.
Mhm.
They hit him with the flare gun, which ignites all of the kerosene.
Yeah.
At this point, this is where Tom Steele is now the thing instead of what is it, Arness?
Oh yeah, James Arness.
James Arness, and this is apparently the first ever full body burn in Hollywood.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, like
Wow.
they don't know it for a fact. They just haven't found evidence of any previous ones.
It's really impressive.
Yes. So he is fully engulfed in flames and still Frankensteining around going, "Arr!"
Yeah.
And so, of course, what you have to do then is just start flinging kerosene everywhere around the room.
Yeah. Oh my god! Like at any point when he isn't a rampaging fire, just throw more kerosene on him.
Yes. Even if there are people, like even if he is in the middle of attacking a person, fling kerosene on him so that everything is on fire. It's like a pillow fight, but if the pillows were kerosene and everyone is on fire.
And apparently, it doesn't seem to occur to anyone that although it doesn't like the fire, it really isn't hurt at all.
Yeah, it's fine. Eventually, they have flung around enough kerosene that the entire building is on fire with them inside of it, and it decides to get the fuck out, so it just jumps through a window, douses itself in snow, and leaves, and then they're like, I guess we should put out this fire.
Looks like it's just us in this inferno that we've created.
The whole fucking place is burning.
It's like no one thought of that.
Yeah, no one thought, maybe this is a great idea.
These guys are so fucking stupid. It's a miracle that they've managed to survive in this place for any length of time.
Oh my god, all of these guys are so wet behind the ears with kerosene.
Whoa.
And so this scene, famously, Tom Steele did the stunt for it. His the head looks really dumber than usual. It's a like hard plastic flame retardant helmet that he was wearing, and his suit was pure. What is it? Shit.
Asbestos?
Asbestos, yes. He's wearing a pure asbestos suit, and there are mixed reports as to how he was breathing. Some reports say that there were tubes taped to his nose that led to a hole in the chest of his outfit that let him breathe from outside, which seems unlikely because they were flinging fiery kerosene around, and that would suck.
He was completely engulfed in flames.
Yeah. The other reports are that he would have a highly explosive and combustible tank of oxygen on the inside of his suit.
Oh
that if anything had gone wrong, the entire inside of his lungs would be scorched and he would have been exploded.
And then a third theory is that they shredded asbestos into microparticles so he could inhale it into his lungs and protect himself.
Yeah, from all that fire. Yeah, just gave himself a nice asbestos coating in the lungs.
Yeah, turns out Tom Steele exploded in a giant tumor a week later.
Thank you, the 50s. But it is an amazing scene. It is worth watching. Even if you hate the entire movie, you have to go see this scene.
It really is pretty much the best burn scene. I mean, even now in movies, you can see like it's just so obvious that somebody's wearing a suit. I mean, this guy's wearing a suit anyway, but it's just he's so covered in fire that you just don't even care.
Yep.
I mean, he is really on fire.
He is really on fire, as is the entire rest of the room that stunt people and actors are like hopping around trying not to get burnt.
That must have been terrifying.
Yes. Nobody died. I looked it up. No one died, but 2 of the actors were in fact burned.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's amazing. It is holy shit amazing. I love that scene so much.
It's really, it's a centerpiece.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Afterwards, they talk about the reporter, Scotty says, that did about as much good as a hot foot.
That's right.
And they go back to the planning. They're like, oh, well, that didn't work.
Yeah. What's next?
Yep. They have this whole scene where they're making fun of the reporter's hair for some reason.
That's right.
And then Nikki's like, your breath. And then
I know. He's like, wow, well, thanks for laying it on thick or whatever.
Yeah, just like making fun of his breath. She's like, no, you two ninnies, it's cold, because they're all like breathing out steam. And it's a real good scene.
Yeah. That's right.
At this point, everything in the movie is great because you're already in a good mood from that awesome fire scene.
Oh, man. So totally riding that high.
Yeah. Then they figure out that it's because it shut the heat off. It shut the gas line, and they're like, oh, so it's smart enough to know that, we need heat. And so it's like shutting off our access to heat. They realize the only other place that they're going to get heat is electricity. So they decide to hole up in the generator room so that it can't, shit on that.
Yeah. And then the electrical guy, the guy that's like their electrician or whatever, that's when he I think, was it he that suggests, because you had mentioned that it was Nikki, suggests that they use electricity to fry the thing?
It was Nikki that came up with the idea of cooking vegetables.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the electrician guy later says, hey, maybe we can use electricity and fry the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So they devised this awesome Nikola Tesla style plan.
That's right.
Just sticking with the Frankenstein motif, because there's lots of Frankenstein business going on in this.
Yeah, that's true.
And so they developed this whole trap with like wire underneath the part in the dirty hallway floor and setting up all kinds of stuff everywhere. And it has to get in just the right spot, but then surely it'll work.
Yeah. At one point they get another preachy Dr. Carrington scene where he's like imploring them to save it, and that they should all die to keep it, to make sure that it lives, because it's more important than they are. Which I thought I was like, yeah, okay, dude, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a little much.
Yeah, I think you just lost me on that one.
Yeah. They even, like, as they're setting it up and getting ready, one of them is like, but I'm being serious now. What if it can read our minds? And the captain is like, well, then it'll get real mad when it gets to me.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they get it all set up. It's all good to go. And then they're waiting in the hallway, and then we see the door that they'd braced earlier, put boards against it, nailed everything in place. And the thing opens the door that they braced shut, because the door opens outward, and they braced it as if it opened inward.
That was so fucking epic. He just walks up and opens the door.
And then it's just like there's some wood in his way now.
He just kind of flicks it out of the way.
Yeah, he grabs one and he's like, oh, thanks for this huge weapon that I will now carry.
Thanks for this tree trunk that I will wield.
Yeah. It proceeds to walk to them as slowly as possible.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not in a hurry.
Yeah, no, he is shuffling like the laziest boy. And at this point, all the lights go out because scientist evil man turned off the generator.
He's such a dick.
Trying to save the thing from their evil scientism ploy, to which point they smash him and turn the electricity back on. In the meantime, the thing has not progressed on his journey down the hallway.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the scientist runs out, and he runs up to the thing and decides to give him a hurried speech. I'm your friend. You're wiser than anything on Earth. I'm a scientist. Let's do cool things together, bro. At which the thing spends a few seconds going, counter proposal, and then smashes the fuck out of him.
Counter proposal, knock you across the room.
Yes. He then proceeds to walk so slow. And they're just like waiting for him to get to a spot. He's even like not on the right part of the floor, so they throw a pickaxe at his feet, which he very fast and nimbly like skips past.
Quite lithe.
Yeah, lithe and dainty. It's a very strange shot. Whoa! This movie's amazing.
It's like, wow. Just used all its energy.
Yep. It then gets to the right point. They turn on all of the electricity. We get good old school lightning arcs coming from nowhere off the screen. Yeah. And they zap it for fucking ever.
For like 2 minutes or so.
Yeah. They're like, we need to eat up time. And
must have smelled so good.
Oh god, yeah. And then they do this thing where they like cut away and they cut back to it, and now instead of it being a giant, it's a normal human size. And then they cut back to it again, and now it's midget size. And they actually had two dudes dressed up in like equitable makeup and outfit so that they could just do that. It was really cool.
That's fantastic.
And then they just keep zapping it until it shrinks into a little puddle of dust.
It's just this black blob.
Yep.
Like a splotch on the floor.
Yep.
Smoking.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Smoking. And then they say like something to the reporter about, hey, now you can go get your shot, to which he faints. He goes out.
He takes his glove off with his teeth like they always do. And then goes and passes out.
Yeah. Yeah. Has an entire timber scene. Yeah. Real good.
Suddenly he's a complete wuss.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that was strange. I didn't get that part.
Yeah. It was good. He was, I don't know. It's so weird.
He's a jerk.
Yeah. So they've burnt everything. Oh yeah, they also decide to burn the all the pods, like all the greenhouse,
the arm.
Yeah. Everything gets burnt, which that is the point at which I feel like, look, you're at a remote outpost all the way up in the middle of nowhere. If there was ever a place to, study these like crazy little things when they're still gross little plants, this would obviously be the best place for it.
Yeah.
But no, let's burn it all.
Yeah.
It killed my two friends, the scientists. Let's murder everything it's ever touched.
Yes, that's right.
And then the other Air Forcemen is talking about it. They're talking about how good everything is, and they're like, "Wow, that was hard for me, and I've only got one thing on my mind: the captain over here." It's like they get back to ripping him.
Yeah. That's right. Problem solved. Let's go fuck with the captain.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Scotty comes to, and he's got his story. They get on the radio, and he proceeds to close out the movie with this whole thing praising the bravery, valor, and quick decision making of the United States military service persons.
Oh my god, it's so stupid. There's that whole like analogy with the Noah analogy.
Yeah, they threw Noah in there for some reason.
Like, where are you going with this, dude?
Yeah, they even talk about the fact that he wish he could bring him up to the microphone right now, but I'm sorry, he's too busy getting fucked.
That's right. He's too busy getting a Hummer from Nikki.
Yeah. And it is a fairly effective scene because he ends it with this great little thing about keep watching the skies.
That's right. Watch the skies everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good final line, solid final line in a very weird final speech.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. Then credits roll.
Yep. Yeah. This movie's incredible once it gets going.
Yeah. Yeah. It does drag a little bit at points, but fortunately it's overall runtime's pretty short, and its high points are so much fun.
Yeah, that for me, that fire scene is just one of the best things I've ever seen.
It really is just complete chaos.
I've found full length GIFs of it so I could just watch it on repeat.
Oh, that's amazing. Here's an idea. Let's put a bunch of people in a wooden room, pour kerosene everywhere, and light the entire room on fire.
Yeah, just have them fling it around like they're splashing around in a swimming pool.
Jesus Christ. What could go wrong?
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so glad that Hollywood is a safer place now, because that is just terrifying.
Yeah, for sure. Woo.
So final notes on this movie. I gave it a 4.0 out of 5. It had its flaws. It is definitely some problems with it based on the era of movie making, and we've learned a lot since then about society and humanity and making movies well. But overall, it's incredible. It's a lot of fun to watch. And it definitely had a huge impact on the genre as a whole.
Yeah. I would give it a 4 as well. It's funny because when Carpenter made his version of The Thing, my dad rushed out to go see it because he liked the original so much. And I remember the next time I saw him, he was like, "Yeah, I went and saw that John Carpenter version of The Thing." I was like, "Oh yeah, is that the remake?" Or he's like, "Yeah, I went and saw that's in the theater. It was fucking terrible."
Oh God!
I'm like, "Really?" He's, "Yeah, it was just disgusting." I mean, they show you everything, all the gross effects. That's what was so good about the first movie, is that they didn't show you that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's exactly what I hate about the first movie.
Yeah,
that and all the awkward dialogue and the practical effects in The Thing. Now, to be fair, that film was panned when it came out. It was universally hated by the critics.
Oh, John Carpenter's
Thing.
Oh, yeah. They called it obscene. It was just, everyone thought it was a piece of shit.
Yeah, and then of course with VHS releases and over time people realize, oh wait a minute, it's one of the best horror films ever made.
Yeah, it is. It really is. That movie. Like, that's what I have big thanks for this movie for being the precursor to John Carpenter's The Thing, because John Carpenter's The Thing is the benchmark by which I grade any other masterpiece.
Oh yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll cover it at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
There has since been a prequel of sorts that was spawned that had at the time before it was released showed a lot of promise, because they had done a whole Kickstarter campaign where they were going to do all practical effects. This was going to be a real tribute, to the glory days of the original, or at least the original Carpenter film, and it was going to kind of operate as a prequel, so it would tie into the original story and so on and so forth. And then when the movie came out, it was they ended up utilizing a relatively large number of CGI effects for the film.
Yeah.
Even though they had already shot practical scenes. I guess whoever the producer, the production company was, or whoever was funding the project, because apparently it wasn't Kickstarter, was not down with the practical effects. And to be fair, there are some great effects in that movie, but overall it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I enjoy that movie. I wouldn't say it's a piece of shit, but I would say that it is really not up to what it was trying to be.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I do enjoy it. I've watched it several times.
Yeah,
so
that's of shit I hate.
Yeah,
watch it again.
As we've said about horror films, it could be a raging piece of shit, and it's probably not going to stop me from watching it numerous times.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch it. I'll watch that one, just to see the effects again, or just to, kind of amuse myself and see how it ties in with the, as a prequel, because it does work somewhat as a prequel.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
It works out okay. And overall, these movies, really starting with the original Thing on through, spawn this whole kind of Arctic horror alien genre.
Yep.
With like movies like Harbinger Down, and there's I'm trying to think. There's been a whole bunch of other ones that have obviously riffed on it pretty heavily.
Well, don't say too many names because I have to announce what movie we're going to watch next pretty soon here.
Nice. I won't say anymore. But yeah, so I would highly recommend checking out this movie if you're a horror film fan and for whatever reason you haven't seen it. This is an absolute must. Yeah. And if you're a sci-fi fan, same. And if you're just a film fan, it's definitely a piece of American film history. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great. I would like to contribute that my ideal sequel for this movie would occur the instant this movie ended and act as a bridge between this movie and that prequel, not John Carpenter's The Thing. And this is actually the same flying saucer and everything. And it's just, oops, we forgot that the dogs are infected, and it kills all of them. And it turns out their message didn't get out. And it's amazing. That's what I want.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I think I don't know how much this movie probably laid the hand seeds to kind of to set up, the Carpenter film, which kind of put this idea in my head, over the years, as far as like horror films, that there's two different. One of the things that these movies do that I really like is when you have a group of characters set up in this like weird location where their ability to protect themselves is very limited. And, the reason why Carpenter's film is so great is because of the paranoia and the isolation. You never know. Yeah, this isolation. And so along with that, like I've developed this interest in like ocean horror films, but so many of them are terrible.
Yes. Yes.
And I keep waiting for somebody to make that deep sea horror masterpiece that taps into that same sense of isolation. And that's like my fantasy, that somebody will make that movie one day.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be true for like a lot of things. Like I always want to see a good Sasquatch horror movie, and they just don't exist.
They really don't.
Yeah. It's like, oh man, I hope this will be the one where it's a Sasquatch movie and it's just real good. But no, it's not.
Didn't Bobcat Goldthwait make one that's supposed to be pretty interesting?
Oh God, I don't know. What a great setup for a movie.
It's not a comedy. Because he's actually a serious filmmaker now. And I forget what it's called, but it's supposed to be very strange, but kind of interesting. I don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to look into that, because that sounds amazing. There's also what's his name, John Gass or whatever. The other half of Tenacious D made a like demon in the apartment horror movie. That's pretty.
Kyle Gass.
Yeah, Kyle Gass. That's right. Yeah. So I love the weird random comedian people doing awesome horror movies.
And speaking, I mean, like, to be fair, the the Bigfoot episode or whatever the fuck it was of the $6 Million Man is pretty choice.
Oh God, I have not seen that.
It's so creepy. That monster freaked me out when I was a kid. And then also, let's not discount Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh yeah, that possibly the best Sasquatch movie. Although, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to go ahead and make a recommendation. There is a 3-part documentary series on Hulu called Sasquatch, and it is a true crime documentary about a time that Sasquatch killed 3 people.
Really?
Yeah, and it is awesome.
Is it really? Oh, I'm going to watch that. That sounds hilarious.
It is hilarious. I never thought that I would actually have developed my favorite Sasquatch hunters. Like someone that, like, if I had to choose my favorite Sasquatch hunters, it would be this guy. But that that documentary introduces you to this couple they're both Sasquatch hunters, and they are now my favorite. Like if there is a Sasquatch hunter I'm rooting for, it's them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yep. Did you see The Terror?
Did I see The Terror? I think I did. Remind me. Of what it is?
It's the series of it's based on Dan
Oh, no.
Simmons's book, The Terror, and
Yeah.
it's the two ships that tried to traverse all of the fucking shit that's up above Canada, trying to get from the Atlantic to the Pacific,
Yeah.
and they got stuck and everything went to hell.
I no, I've eyeballed that several times and have meant to watch it, but I've never watched it.
Okay, it's not quite going to be your deep sea thing that you're wanting, but it is a little nautical, and I know that you like the Melville-esque things going on, and it's a little bit of that in there.
Yeah, that's part of what I was picking up from that, which is part of the reason why I thought it looked interesting. It's a cool story, so I definitely need to watch that as well. Cool.
Yeah, it's good. Anyway, so that's us that's me saying the names of other things.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we gave it, I guess we gave it in the movie, back to the movie, we gave it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, 4 from each of us.
Yeah.
Definitely go watch it. It's a heavy recommend. And then I guess unless there's something else you'd like to say, I can mention what we're going to watch next time.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So next time I've chosen Nick Shostakovsky's Black Mountain Side.
Wow, I have no idea what this is.
This is a 2014 independent horror film with no budget. And it is set in like the super unpopulated north of Canada, although their actual set is just like some campsite. And there is 2 special effects in the entire film. There's like no budget whatsoever. 2 special effects, 1 real hokey looking deer puppet. And it's pretty great. I mean, it's not a masterpiece, but it's very enjoyable, and it plays with these things. It's, there are some hard to decipher between one another white men and other people that you can decipher are there, but it does make it hard to tell how many of them there are, and they're all in this like northern place, snow isolation. And then something horror happens and paranoia sets in.
Sounds perfect.
It's part of the list of movies that I've been building of not John Carpenter's The Thing, like any movie that is like John Carpenter's The Thing, but it's not that.
Yeah.
So it's this one is on there along with like you mentioned, Harbinger Down. The movie we just watched, The Thing from Another World, is on there. That other The Thing prequel, and I also count The Void as one of those. I was
going to say The Void is actually kind of right there with it, with those for me too. Yeah,
if you replace the North Pole with a country hospital, it's right there.
Oh, The Void is the fucking tits.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, but after watching this, I was like, oh, Black Mountain Side, it's got so many of the same elements. It has a similar style where it's like, instead of showing you the cool thing that they're looking at, they just look at it and describe what they're looking at, and you don't get to see it.
Nice.
But, like 60 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's widely available. Go watch it before our next episode comes out and enjoy. Don't go in with too big expectations. It is low budget, but they spent that budget well on some practical effects and production value. So even though it's an independent movie, the screen that you're looking at, like the pictures, look high grade.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, and real quick, calling back to The Empty Man, from the previous episode, I think we had mentioned his short film that he had put out a few years prior, AM 1200.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend going and checking that out. They have it on YouTube, so you can see it for free. The version I saw, the fidelity of the image was pretty bad, but it's okay. The movie's kick ass.
Yeah, the movie's awesome, and it's definitely you can really see from that when he made The Empty Man, he like blew his entire wad.
Yeah,
he's like, all of the ideas that I've ever had. Like, I made this short film. I'm going to put all those ideas in here. Let's see what else. Oh, that short story I wrote. I'm going to put that idea in here. All my ideas in this one movie.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, you realize how bleak this dude's outlook on things is.
Oh yeah. He's all about that. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, he gives great interviews too, if you look any of those up.
Yeah, you can hear how smarmy he is about how unwell the movie was marketed and produced.
That's right. He's not bitter at all.
Yeah, and I was glad to learn that I was right about why the movie is that long. They're basically like, fine, you can do your director's cut.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Apparently, the cut that the studio tried to put together was shit.
Yeah, it screened even worse than the cut that they had forced him to put out in front of a test audience.
Yeah, that's really the type of praise you want. It was even worse.
I guess yours is slightly better than this terrible version.
Yes.
Let's put it out.
Yeah, so go find his interview on a different podcast where you get to hear him referred to movie screeners as high school dropouts.
It's fantastic.
And while you're at it, go ahead and find us all over the internet, like on Twitter, where we are at Loathsome Pod, Facebook, where we are at Loathsome Podcast, and you can send us an email at loathsomethings@gmail.com.
Absolutely. Get in touch. We'd love to hear from you guys. Horror suggestions, thoughts, insults. Bring it on.
Yeah. Tell us why we're dumb. We need to know.
We do.
Yeah. And until next time, this has been Loathsome Things. Go out there, watch horror movies, and enjoy.
That's right. Bye.
Bye.